The more we try to hold everything together on our own, the more our peace seems to slip through our fingers. It's a strange paradox of faith that many of us quietly carry. We love God, we believe He is near, yet we often feel alone in the very moments when we need Him the most. Perhaps you've had days where you move through your responsibilities with a brave face, but inside, the heart feels tired, stretched, or weighed down by unspoken worries. You're trying, you're praying, and still something inside feels heavy. If this is where you find yourself today, you're not failing, you're human, and you're loved. In moments like these, the story of Tepeyac becomes a soft reminder. Mary's presence there, in such an ordinary hill and in such an unexpected moment, invites us to consider that God often draws closer when we feel most alone, not with overwhelming signs, but with a tenderness that meets us where we stand. Scripture tells us that God is near to the brokenhearted, and Mary, in her maternal closeness, gently points us toward that truth, not by speaking new messages, but simply by reflecting the warmth of God's compassion. It is as if she's encouraging us to breathe, to rest, and to trust that our heaviness is not ignored. So today, let's take one small, gentle step. Wherever you are, sitting, standing, or preparing to rest, take one slow, unhurried breath. Let your shoulders loosen just a bit, and in that breath, whisper in your heart, "I am here, Lord." This simple sentence is not about strength, it's about honesty. It's about acknowledging your fatigue while allowing God's tenderness to meet you in that exact place. Even this small act can open a doorway for grace to enter. Lord, hold my tired heart and let me rest in your nearness. Give me the quiet courage to trust that I am not walking alone. Tomorrow, we begin learning how to recognize gentle hope. Give me the quiet courage to trust that I am not walking alone. Those words from yesterday open a gentle doorway for today's reflection. From there, we take another small step, learning how to trust more deeply by quieting the noise within us. So many of us know what it feels like when anxiety fills the mind. It doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it's a restlessness, a constant turning of thoughts, or the feeling that you can't quite settle into yourself. Even when the day is done, the heart may still race ahead into tomorrow's worries or replay the unfinished parts of today. This inner clutter can make us feel spiritually distant, even though we long for God's peace. In moments like these, we can look to Mary's simple and profound example. Scripture tells us in Luke 2:19 that she pondered these things in her heart. She didn't force clarity or chase certainty. Instead, she made space for God's quiet guidance to unfold within her. Her silence wasn't empty. It was trusting, receptive, and peaceful, as if her example gently invites us to believe that God can speak even in the smallest pause, even in the breaths we often rush through. Tonight, before settling into bed, give yourself 1 minute of stillness, just 60 seconds. Sit or lie down comfortably, close your eyes if you wish, and allow your mind to stop reaching for more. Let the noise soften, even if only a little. This minute isn't about achieving perfect calm. It's about giving God a small open space to enter, a quiet place within you where His peace can begin to breathe. Lord, settle my thoughts so your peace can find room. Calm the places in me that feel crowded and help me rest in your gentle presence. Tomorrow, we look for comfort in small signs of grace. Calm the places in me that feel crowded and help me rest in your gentle presence. Those words from yesterday plant a quiet seed in the heart. When we begin noticing small signs of grace, even the smallest bit of light can guide us forward. Today, we take another tiny step, trusting that even when life feels overwhelming, God meets us gently, not with pressure, but with patience. Feeling overwhelmed is something most of us know too well. It can come from responsibilities that pile up, emotions that feel too heavy to name, or simply the weariness of trying to be strong for too long. Sometimes we interpret this heaviness as failure, as if we should be managing better or trusting more. But being overwhelmed isn't a spiritual flaw. It's a sign that the heart is asking for tenderness, for rest, for someone to steady us. In these moments, Mary's example can be a quiet comfort. Her life wasn't free from unexpected turns or heavy burdens, yet she moved through each step with trust, not because she understood everything, but because she allowed God to guide her gradually. Her presence at Tepeyac is often remembered as a motherly closeness, an invitation to believe that God doesn't demand leaps from us. He welcomes small steps. It is as if Mary gently steadies us, encouraging us to take just the next manageable breath, the next act of trust, the next opening of the heart. So today, let your small step be simple and sincere. Whisper one slow Hail Mary, not rushed, not forced, just a quiet offering of your heart. Let each word fall gently, like placing one more stone of trust on the path before you. This small prayer can become a moment where God's light touches your day in a way you can actually receive. Lord, guide my steps and calm my spirit. Help me trust that even small acts of faith are enough for you to work within me. Tomorrow, we walk into a day with renewed courage. Help me trust that even small acts of faith are enough for you to work within me. Those words from yesterday open the door for today's reflection. When courage begins to rise, even gently, we often start noticing the deeper ache underneath, the quiet loneliness that many carry but rarely speak of. From here, we take another step toward healing. Loneliness has a way of echoing inside the heart, even when life appears full on the outside. You can be surrounded by people, family, co-workers, friends, and still feel unseen or emotionally distant. Sometimes loneliness feels sharp, almost like a small ache behind the ribs. Other times it settles in slowly, not as sadness, but as a sense of disconnection, a feeling that no one quite notices what you're carrying. This is a deeply human experience, and it doesn't mean your faith is weak. It simply means your heart longs to be known. In moments like this, the memory of Tepeyac holds something tender. Mary's presence there is often understood as a sign of personal closeness, an invitation to trust that God meets each of us individually, not abstractly, not distantly, but personally. Scripture reminds us that God sees what is hidden and hears the unspoken cries of the heart. Mary's maternal example gently reflects that truth, as if she stands beside anyone who feels unseen and quietly points to the God who knows them completely. Her closeness doesn't solve loneliness instantly, but it softens its edges and reminds us that being unseen by others does not mean being unseen by God. So today's small step is simple but meaningful. Take a moment to write one sentence acknowledging how you feel today. Just one. It doesn't need to be poetic or polished. It can be honest, raw, or hesitant. Naming your feeling is a way of opening the door for God's kindness to enter. Sometimes bringing truth into the light is the first movement toward healing. Lord, let your kindness reach the places I hide. Hold the parts of me that feel unnoticed and remind me that I am never forgotten by you. Tomorrow, we practice noticing moments of tenderness. Hold the parts of me that feel unnoticed and remind me that I am never forgotten by you. Those words from yesterday gently open our hearts to look for tenderness in small places. And from there, we take another step, this time turning inward to notice how we see ourselves and how God sees us with far more compassion than we often allow. Many of us carry a quiet habit of judging ourselves harshly. We replay mistakes, magnify our shortcomings, and assume others are seeing the same flaws we focus on. Sometimes the heaviest burdens are the ones we place on our own shoulders. The feeling that we aren't enough, that we should be doing better, that we don't deserve gentleness. This inner criticism can erode our peace long before any external pressure arrives. It becomes hard to rest when your own gaze feels like a spotlight of scrutiny. Yet Scripture reminds us that God looks upon His children with mercy, not condemnation. Mary's example, especially reflected in the stories linked to Guadalupe, invites us to trust this softer gaze. Her maternal presence doesn't accuse or demand perfection. Instead, it reflects God's tenderness, a reminder that our worth is rooted in His love, not in our performance. It is as if her example encourages us to step out from behind our harsh self-judgments and rest for a moment in the warmth of God's compassionate eyes. Today's practice is simple but deeply healing. Pause once, just once, at any moment in your day. Place your hand over your heart and take a slow, gentle breath. Let this breath be a silent act of self-kindness. Remind yourself that you are seen with love. This small gesture can soften a harsh moment, inviting God's tenderness to reach the parts of you that feel tight or unworthy. Lord, help me see myself with compassion. Teach me to rest in your loving gaze and to release the judgments that weigh me down. Tomorrow, we explore how God speaks through simplicity. Teach me to rest in your loving gaze and to release the judgments that weigh me down. Those words from yesterday gently prepare our hearts for today's reflection. When we learn to see ourselves with compassion, we naturally become more open to the quiet ways God speaks, especially through the simplicity of ordinary life. From here, we take another small step, looking for grace not in big moments, but in the daily rhythms we often overlook. Many of us rush through our days without even realizing it. There are meals to prepare, messages to answer, chores to finish, errands to run. The ordinary routines can feel repetitive or invisible, and sometimes we wonder if any of it matters to God. It's easy to assume that only dramatic prayers or emotional moments count as spiritual, while the everyday tasks fade into the background. But often, this constant motion leaves the heart feeling tired and disconnected, as if our faith has no room to breathe. Scripture reminds us, though, that God often chooses the humble and the small, the quiet actions, the unnoticed offerings, the simple gestures of love. These are the places where grace quietly takes root. Mary's life reflects this beautifully. Much of her holiness was lived in ordinary moments, preparing meals, tending to her home, walking from place to place, holding responsibilities with a peaceful, trusting heart. Her example invites us to believe that God is present not only in the extraordinary, but also in the routines we repeat day after day. It is as if her gentle presence encourages us to slow down just enough to notice that grace is woven into the simple things. So today's small practice is this. Choose one simple task, washing your hands, folding laundry, walking to your car, and turn it into a breath prayer. As you move through that task, breathe slowly and let your heart whisper something like, "Be with me, Lord," or simply rest in silence. Allow the action to become a quiet moment of connection instead of something rushed or mindless. Even one small task held with peace can soften the entire day. Lord, bless my ordinary moments with your quiet grace. Help me slow down enough to notice you in the simple rhythms of my life. Tomorrow, we learn how to carry hope gently. Help me slow down enough to notice you in the simple rhythms of my life. Those words from yesterday open our hearts to an even gentler truth. Once we begin noticing God in the ordinary, hope starts to return quietly. From here, we take another small step, learning not to force hope, but to hold it gently, like something fragile yet deeply needed. There are days when hope feels distant, not gone, just muted. Life's responsibilities, disappointments, or unanswered prayers can make hope feel like a flame struggling to stay lit. You might look around and see others moving forward with confidence while you're just trying to make it through the day. In these moments, hope doesn't shout, it whispers. It doesn't rush, it unfolds slowly, like the first light of dawn that doesn't demand to be noticed, yet changes the whole sky. This is where Mary's example speaks in a soft but steady way. In Scripture, she carries a quiet, persevering trust, not a loud certainty, but a heart open to God's timing. At Tepeyac, her presence is often remembered as a gentle reassurance, as if encouraging us to notice even the faintest light in our lives. Her maternal closeness invites us to believe that hope grows not from dramatic moments, but from quiet encounters with God's tenderness. Even the smallest flicker counts. So today's small practice is simple and grounded. Name one small blessing from today, just one. It might be a warm conversation, a moment of rest, a smile, a bit of clarity, or even the strength to get out of bed. Naming a blessing doesn't ignore difficulties. It gives the heart something to hold on to, something that reminds you light is still present, even if subtle. Lord, awaken hope in me again. Help me recognize your light in the small and quiet places of my day. Tomorrow, we reflect on burdens we try to carry alone. Help me recognize your light in the small and quiet places of my day. Those final words from yesterday lead us gently into today's reflection. Once we begin to notice even faint signs of grace, we also become more aware of the burdens we have been carrying, especially the ones we rarely name out loud. From here, we take another small step toward healing those deeper places. Some burdens feel almost too personal to share. They might be worries about family, fears about the future, guilt we struggle to let go of, or quiet disappointments we've tucked away. These are the kinds of struggles we often keep to ourselves, sometimes because we don't know how to express them, and sometimes because they feel too heavy or too complicated to explain. When these burdens sit unspoken in the heart, they can make us feel isolated, as if we are the only ones carrying something no one else would understand. But Scripture reminds us that God searches the heart and knows our hidden places. His compassion doesn't wait for us to find perfect words. And Mary's presence, especially remembered through the stories of Guadalupe, reflects this truth in a tender way. It is as if her gentle closeness encourages us to trust that we don't have to hide what hurts. Her example points us toward Christ's compassion, the kind that meets us personally, quietly, and without judgment. Even when a burden feels too private for anyone else to hear, God is already there, holding space for us to bring it into the light. Today's small practice is simple and honest. Write down one burden you are carrying, just one. It doesn't have to be detailed or polished. Once you've written it, take a moment to entrust it to God, silently or in your own words. This act isn't about solving the problem instantly. It's about letting your heart breathe, letting the burden be shared rather than hidden. Lord, lift what I cannot carry alone. Meet me in the places that feel too heavy to speak, and surround me with your compassion. Tomorrow, we seek strength in gentle trust. Meet me in the places that feel too heavy to speak, and surround me with your compassion. Those words from yesterday gently open the way for today's reflection. When we dare to name our burdens, even privately, the heart becomes ready for a deeper step, learning to trust in a strength that is gentle, not demanding. From here, we take another tender movement toward surrender. Many of us feel pressured to be strong all the time. We tell ourselves to hold it together, to push through, to not show weakness. Yet this constant effort can leave the spirit exhausted, stretched thin in ways no one else sees. Sometimes the deepest fatigue comes not from what we do, but from the weight of trying to appear strong when inside we feel fragile. And when life becomes overwhelming, we might think we're failing simply because we've reached the end of our own strength. But Scripture offers another way to understand strength. It teaches that God's power is made perfect in weakness, not in the moments when we feel confident, but in the places where we feel small. True strength isn't pressure or self-reliance. It's the quiet, courageous choice to surrender. Mary's example reflects this beautifully. Her life is marked by a trusting openness, a willingness to lean on God rather than carry everything alone. Her presence, especially remembered at Tepeyac, gently invites us to rest in God's strength instead of our own. It is as if her example says, you don't have to hold this by yourself. So today's small practice is simple. Speak one sentence of surrender. Let your heart say, Lord, I place this in your hands. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to know the outcome. This single sentence becomes a doorway, inviting God to carry what is too heavy and to steady what feels uncertain. Lord, be my quiet strength today. Grant me the trust to let go of what I was never meant to carry alone. Tomorrow, we turn toward healing from inner tension. Grant me the trust to let go of what I was never meant to carry alone. Those final words from yesterday gently lead us into today's reflection. When we begin surrendering heavy burdens, the heart often reveals another layer, the quiet tension we've been holding inside. From here, we take another small step, learning how to soften that inner tightness with God's gentle help. Many of us carry tension without realizing it. It shows up as a knot in the stomach, a tightness in the chest, stiff shoulders, shallow breathing, or a constant sense of being on alert. Sometimes this tension comes from stress or fear, sometimes from unspoken worries, unresolved emotions, or simply trying to function in a world that moves faster than our hearts can keep up with. When emotions tighten the heart, prayer can feel harder, and even gentle hope can seem far away. Yet Scripture shows us that God often works most beautifully in quiet, gradual ways. Mary's life reflects this calm steadiness. She faced uncertainty, sudden changes, and moments that could have easily overwhelmed her. But instead of reacting with panic, she moved with a peaceful trust, holding space for God's timing even when she couldn't see the full picture. Her example, remembered through moments like Tepeyac, invites us to adopt this same posture, not by forcing calm, but by allowing God to ease us into it. It is as if her presence reminds us that healing often begins not with big gestures, but with one slow breath. So today's small practice is simple and soothing. Relax your shoulders and breathe slowly 3 times. Let each breath be unhurried. Release some of the tension you've been holding, perhaps without knowing. This small act helps the heart loosen its grip and makes room for God's peace to enter gently. Lord, ease the tightness within me. Help my heart return to a calm, steady trust in your loving care. Tomorrow, we practice gratitude in small measures. Those final words from yesterday settle gently within us, preparing the way for today's reflection. When inner tension begins to soften, the heart becomes more able to notice small gifts again. From here, we take another small and tender step, learning to let gratitude plant tiny seeds of light within us. When life feels overwhelming or lonely, gratitude can feel out of reach. Some days, it's hard to see anything good at all. The mind naturally gravitates toward what's stressful, painful, or unfinished. And when we are tired, gratitude can feel like one more thing we should be doing. But in truth, gratitude is not a demand, it's a balm. It doesn't erase hardship, but it gently shifts the heart so it can breathe again. Scripture often speaks of giving thanks not as a grand gesture, but as a posture of openness. Even a small thank you becomes a doorway that lets God's light enter. Mary's example reflects this. Her life was filled with ordinary moments, yet she carried a spirit of quiet trust, noticing God's presence in the simple and the small. This gentle attentiveness invites us to believe that gratitude doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be sincere. Even one tiny acknowledgement can soften heaviness and create space for hope. So today's practice is simple and humble. Thank God for one thing you usually overlook. It could be a warm drink, a safe place to rest, a moment of kindness, or the strength to make it through the day. One small gratitude can shift the heart just enough to remind you that light is still present even on difficult days. Lord, teach me to notice your gifts. Let even the smallest gratitude awaken my heart to your presence. Tomorrow, we soften the heart toward others. Let even the smallest gratitude awaken my heart to your presence. Those final words from yesterday gently open the way for today's reflection. When gratitude softens the heart, even just a little, we become more capable of offering gentleness to those around us. From here, we take another small step, one that touches our relationships and the way we move through the world. There are days when patience feels thin, when we're tired, overwhelmed, or stretched by our own worries. Even simple interactions can feel heavier than they should. A comment from someone might sting more than usual, or a small inconvenience might spark irritation. Sometimes we know we're not at our best, yet we don't know how to shift our energy. In moments like this, it becomes difficult to extend compassion because our hearts are already tender and fatigued. But Scripture constantly reminds us that compassion is one of the most powerful ways God's love flows through us. Mary's life reflects this with quiet clarity. Her compassion wasn't loud or dramatic. It was expressed through presence, patience, and a steady attentiveness to others' needs. Her maternal closeness at Tepeyac is often remembered as a symbol of that tenderness, an invitation to approach others with the same steady gentleness, even when our own spirits feel worn. It is as if her example encourages us to breathe before reacting and to remember that every person we meet carries their own unseen burdens. So today's small practice is simple but meaningful. Offer one small kindness. It doesn't have to be big. A gentle word, a patient response, a small gesture of help, or even a silent prayer for someone you find difficult. This small act shifts your heart outward, making space for compassion to grow even on days when your energy is low. Lord, make my heart gentle in my relationships. Teach me to reflect your patience and kindness, especially when my spirit feels tired. Tomorrow, we explore comfort in divine presence. Teach me to reflect your patience and kindness, especially when my spirit feels tired. Those final words from yesterday gently prepare our hearts for today's reflection. When we learn to soften toward others, we often begin to notice a deeper longing within ourselves, the desire to feel held, steady, and accompanied. From here, we take another small step, turning toward the quiet comfort of God's presence. There are days when God feels close and days when He seems far away, not because He has moved, but because our hearts are heavy, distracted, or hurting. Loneliness, stress, or emotional fatigue can make us wonder if God notices us at all. We may pray and feel nothing. We may sit in silence and hear only the noise of our own thoughts. It can be discouraging, and sometimes we interpret this lack of feeling as a sign that something is wrong with our faith. But Scripture offers a reassuring truth. God is near to the brokenhearted. His presence is not measured by our emotions, but by His unchanging love. Mary's quiet example echoes this same reassurance. Through her life, especially in moments like Tepeyac, we are invited to trust that God accompanies us gently, even when we do not feel it. Her maternal closeness reflects a steady truth. God meets us in the silence, the stillness, the hidden interior places where words fall short. His comfort is real, even when it is quiet. So today's small practice is simple. Sit for 30 seconds and imagine warm light around you. Let it be gentle, like morning sunlight or the glow of a peaceful room. This isn't about forcing a spiritual experience. It's about giving your heart permission to rest, to be still, to lean into the possibility that God is closer than your feelings suggest. Lord, let your presence steady me. Help me trust that you are near, especially when I feel alone or overwhelmed. Tomorrow, we reflect on letting go of pressure to be perfect. Help me trust that you are near, especially when I feel alone or overwhelmed. Those words from yesterday gently guide us toward today's reflection. Once we begin to rest in God's presence, even in subtle ways, another truth comes into focus. We often place heavy expectations on ourselves. From here, we take another small step, learning to loosen the pressure to be perfect. Perfectionism can hide beneath good intentions. We want to be responsible, loving, patient, faithful, and none of those desires are wrong. But sometimes we quietly believe that we must get everything right or somehow prove our worth. When we make a mistake, forget something, or fall short of our own expectations, we can be surprisingly harsh with ourselves. This pressure steals peace. It makes us feel tense, ashamed, or constantly behind. It creates the illusion that God is disappointed in us, when in truth, He sees our hearts far more clearly and compassionately than we see ourselves. Scripture teaches that God looks at the heart, not just the outcome. And Mary's humility reflects this beautifully. She didn't offer God perfection, she offered sincerity. Her yes was not a display of flawless strength, but an honest willingness to trust. Her example, especially remembered at Tepeyac, invites us to lay down the burdens of self-criticism and to remember that God works through the humble, the imperfect, the real. It is as if her quiet presence encourages us to stop striving for unattainable standards and instead allow God to meet us where we are. So today's small practice is gentle and freeing. Allow yourself one moment of being imperfect without criticizing yourself. Just one. It might be a small slip, an unfinished task, or a moment of forgetfulness. When it happens, pause and breathe. Let it be what it is. This simple act helps the heart embrace grace instead of pressure. Lord, free me from the need to be flawless. Teach me to trust that you work through my sincerity more than my perfection. Tomorrow, we strengthen our trust in God's timing. Teach me to trust that you work through my sincerity more than my perfection. Those words from yesterday gently lead us into today's reflection. Once we loosen the pressure to be flawless, another familiar ache often rises to the surface, the fear of being behind in life. From here, we take another small step, learning to rest in the gentle wisdom of God's timing. Many of us carry the quiet worry that we are not where we should be. We look at our age, our accomplishments, our relationships, our spiritual progress, or even our personal healing, and we wonder why things seem slow, delayed, or uncertain. This feeling can wound the spirit, stirring anxiety or discouragement. It can make us compare ourselves to others or question whether we've missed our chance. The weight of this timeline pressure often drains our peace more than we realize. Yet Scripture tells us repeatedly that God's ways are not our ways. His timing is rarely fast, but it is always purposeful. Growth in the spiritual life often happens quietly beneath the surface, like seeds slowly taking root. And Mary's example reminds us of this steady trust. She lived through seasons of waiting, from the Annunciation to the hidden years of Christ's life, holding on to faith not because she understood everything, but because she trusted the one who guides all things in perfect wisdom. Her presence, especially remembered at Tepeyac, becomes a gentle reassurance that we are not late, we are being led. So today's small practice is simple and freeing. Whisper the words, "Your time, Lord, not mine." Let this be a moment of surrender, not resignation. Allow it to loosen the tightness around your expectations, your fears, and your sense of falling behind. This small prayer helps the heart shift from urgency to trust. Lord, align my heart with your timing. Teach me to rest in the quiet assurance that you are guiding my path with love. Tomorrow, we rest in the assurance of being loved. Teach me to rest in the quiet assurance that you are guiding my path with love. Those words lead us gently into today's reflection. Once we begin trusting God's timing, another tender truth becomes easier to receive. We are loved long before we achieve anything or become better. From here, we take another small step, learning to let that love settle into our hearts. So many of us move through life feeling as though love must be earned through productivity, kindness, strength, or spiritual progress. When we fall short, we fear losing worth. This anxiety can weigh heavily on the heart, especially when we already feel overwhelmed or unseen. It's easy to believe we must first fix ourselves before stepping closer to God. But in the story of Guadalupe, Mary's maternal closeness reveals something profoundly gentle. God's love reaches us right where we are. In Scripture, we see this truth again and again, God calling the weary, the uncertain, the imperfect. Mary's humility and openness remind us that our value does not come from what we accomplish, but from who we are to God. Her presence invites us to rest in a love that holds us without conditions, without performance, without pressure. This kind of love asks only that we receive it. Today's small practice is simple. Place a hand over your heart and take one slow breath, whispering inwardly, "I am loved." Let this truth soften the places that feel tense or afraid. Allow it to reshape how you see yourself, not as someone constantly striving, but as someone held. Lord, root me deeply in your unconditional love. Help me remember that I am embraced even in my unfinished places. Tomorrow, we practice slowing down our hurried spirit. Help me remember that I am embraced even in my unfinished places. Those words guide us gently into today's reflection, where we take another small step toward peace by slowing the hurried rhythm of our spirit. So often, our days move faster than our hearts can follow. We rush from one task to the next, feeling pressured to stay productive, useful, or on top of things. Yet beneath that pace, our peace quietly thins and our soul feels stretched. Many people carry invisible exhaustion, mental, emotional, spiritual. Even when the body stops, the mind keeps racing. It can feel as if we are always behind, always trying to catch up. This hurried way of living leaves little space for comfort, clarity, or God's gentle presence. Mary's example offers a calming invitation. In Scripture, she moves with a peaceful steadiness, reflecting trust rather than haste. At Guadalupe, her maternal closeness reveals a quiet rhythm of grace, unrushed, unforced, grounded in God's timing. Her presence reminds us that the soul blooms in stillness, not in frantic motion. When we slow down, even slightly, we create room for God's tenderness to settle within us. Today's small practice is simple and gentle. Choose one routine action, pouring water, tying your shoes, opening a door, and do it slowly. Let your breath match that slower pace. This tiny act becomes a reminder that not everything in your life needs to move quickly for God to be near. Lord, help my heart move at a peaceful pace. Steady my steps so I may walk with you rather than ahead of you. Tomorrow, we open space for inner clarity. Steady my steps so I may walk with you rather than ahead of you. With that gentle prayer, we take another small step together. Once we slow our spirit, something beautiful becomes possible. Clarity, not the kind that comes from overthinking or analyzing every detail, but the kind that rises quietly when the heart finally has room to breathe. Many of us live with a constant hum of mental noise, worries replaying, decisions piling up, expectations whispering that we must figure everything out immediately. This internal pressure can make the simplest choices feel overwhelming. When the mind is crowded, even God's gentle guidance can feel far away, not because He is distant, but because our attention is stretched thin. Mary offers us a different rhythm. Scripture tells us she pondered these things in her heart, not in frantic circles, but with a simplicity rooted in trust. At Guadalupe, her maternal presence invites us to slow down enough to receive clarity, not as a forceful answer, but as a quiet settling of the soul. When the heart is calm, even small insights can shine like light through an open window. Today's practice is simple but powerful. Take 1 full minute with no phone, no screens, no noise. Just breathe. Let the silence gently sweep away the tightness in your thoughts. Even 60 seconds can open space for God to touch what feels tangled. Lord, clear what clouds my heart. Let your light settle gently within me and guide my next step. Tomorrow, we turn our worries into prayerful surrender. Let your light settle gently within me and guide my next step. From that quiet place, we take another small step together, one that many hearts find difficult, turning our worries into prayer. Worry often feels like a weight we silently drag behind us. It drains our focus, tightens our chest, and convinces us that everything depends on our own strength. When life feels uncertain, our minds can replay the same fears over and over, hoping they'll make more sense the 100th time. But they rarely do. God never asks us to pretend we are not worried. Instead, He invites honesty. Scripture shows again and again that hearts opened in truth are hearts that grace can reach. Mary reflects this openness beautifully. At Guadalupe, her tender closeness reminds us that presenting our concerns to God is not weakness, it is trust. It is a way of saying, I cannot carry this alone, and I don't have to. Today's practice is simple. Choose one worry and reshape it into a single sentence of prayer. Something like, "Lord, hold this with me," or "Lord, help me with what I cannot see clearly." When we release even one worry into God's hands, it makes room for peace to settle where tension once lived. Lord, transform my worry into trust. Be the steady place where my restless thoughts can finally rest. Tomorrow, we embrace compassion toward ourselves. Be the steady place where my restless thoughts can finally rest. From that gentle pause, we take another small step, one that many of us find unexpectedly difficult, offering compassion to ourselves. So often, we speak to our own hearts in ways we would never speak to someone we love. When we are tired, anxious, or overwhelmed, self-criticism rises quickly. We replay our mistakes, question our worth, and measure ourselves against standards we were never meant to carry alone. Yet the God who created us does not look at us with harshness. Scripture reminds us that the Lord is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love. And Mary, in her quiet maternal closeness at Tepeyac, reflects this tenderness. Her presence invites us to imagine how God sees us, not through the lens of failure or pressure, but with a gaze full of patience and compassion. Self-compassion is not self-indulgence. It is a small, sacred way of agreeing with God's truth that you are loved, even in your imperfect and weary moments. Today's practice is simple and incredibly gentle. Speak one kind sentence to yourself. Something like, "I'm doing my best," or "It's okay to be human," or even, "God is patient with me, and I can be patient too. Lord, teach me to treat myself with your kindness. Let the tenderness you offer flow into the way I speak to my own heart." Tomorrow, we rest more deeply in God's faithful care. Let the tenderness you offer flow into the way I speak to my own heart. From that softened place, we take another gentle step, resting in the truth that God's care does not waver, even when our lives feel unstable. Many of us know the feeling of waking up with tension already settled in our chest, or going to bed unsure of what tomorrow will bring. Uncertainty can make the heart race and the mind spin, leaving us tired in ways we struggle to put into words. Yet Scripture continually reminds us that God watches over His children with steady love, not distant, not distracted, steadily, faithfully, with the attention of one who knows our fears and never turns away. When Mary appeared at Tepeyac, her maternal closeness served as a gentle reflection of this truth, that we are seen, held, and cared for, even in the moments that feel most fragile. Her presence encourages us to lean into the safety that God offers. Today, try a simple practice. Sit still for 10 slow seconds and imagine being held securely, resting in the kind of safety that does not depend on your strength or perfection. Let your shoulders loosen. Let your breath settle. Even a few seconds of this quiet resting can remind your heart that you are not navigating life alone. Lord, keep me close to your heart. Let your steady care be the place where my worries soften and my spirit finds rest. Tomorrow, we reflect on the gift of small joys. Let your steady care be the place where my worries soften and my spirit finds rest. From that quiet trust, we take another gentle step, learning to notice the small joys God places along our path. When life feels heavy or uncertain, joy can seem distant, almost unreachable. Our minds become so focused on what hurts or what we fear is missing that we overlook the tiny sparks of goodness already present. Yet joy rarely arrives with noise or spectacle. More often, it slips into our day like soft morning light, quiet, subtle, but real. Scripture reminds us that God delights in working through the small and simple. And Mary, especially in her tenderness at Tepeyac, reflects this truth. Her presence invites us to recognize the gentle joys that surround us. A warm cup, a kind word, a moment of calm, the sound of laughter, the feeling of being understood. These aren't distractions from God's work. Often they are His work. Today's practice is simple. When you notice something that brings even a small lift to your spirit, pause for 5 slow seconds and let that joy settle into you. Hold it gently, like a small gift placed in your hands. Even the faintest joy can refresh a tired heart when we allow ourselves to receive it. Lord, let small joys renew my spirit. Open my eyes to the blessings that arrive quietly and help me welcome them with gratitude. Tomorrow, we place our day fully in God's hands. Open my eyes to the blessings that arrive quietly and help me welcome them with gratitude. From that soft awareness, we take another gentle step, learning how to place our whole day with its joys and its struggles into God's loving hands. So often, we carry the weight of our hours long after they've passed. A conversation that didn't go well, a task unfinished, a mistake that lingers in the mind. These small moments gather and stay with us, tightening the heart as we try to rest. Yet Scripture reminds us that God invites us to lay our burdens before Him. Surrender is not giving up. It is trusting that we don't have to hold everything alone. Mary's example at Guadalupe reflects this truth. Her gentle presence invites us to release the pressures we cling to, as if she encourages us to breathe out what troubles us and hand it over to the one who cares deeply for us. Today's small practice is simple and soft. Before you sleep tonight, whisper, "This day is yours, Lord." It doesn't matter whether the day felt successful or messy, peaceful or overwhelming. By offering it to God, you let Him fill the empty spaces with grace. You allow Him to hold what you cannot, and you make room for rest to enter your spirit. Lord, receive all I lived today. Hold my efforts, my worries, my joys, and my mistakes, and let your peace settle over me like a gentle blessing. Tomorrow, we learn to welcome God in moments of weakness. Hold my efforts, my worries, my joys, and my mistakes, and let your peace settle over me like a gentle blessing. From that place of surrender, we take another small, grace-filled step, learning to welcome God right where we feel weakest. So often, our instinct is to hide our limitations, to push through them in silence, or to judge ourselves harshly for not being stronger. These moments can leave us feeling alone, discouraged, or quietly ashamed. But Scripture reminds us that weakness is not a place God avoids. It is where His love works most tenderly. "My power is made perfect in weakness" is not a demand. It is an invitation to rest in the truth that we are never disqualified from grace. Mary's maternal example, especially reflected in the gentle reassurance of Guadalupe, echoes this same truth. She stands with us not because we are strong, but because we are loved. Her presence encourages us to open our hearts without fear, trusting that God meets us most fully in our vulnerable places. Today's simple practice. Choose one area where you feel small, perhaps a fear, a flaw, a habit, or a place you feel unworthy, and acknowledge it without shame. Not to fix it immediately, but simply to say, "This is where I am, Lord." That moment of honesty becomes a doorway where grace can enter. Lord, meet me where I feel small. Let your tenderness fill the places I try to hide, and let your strength rise gently within my weakness. Tomorrow, we seek peace in forgiving ourselves. Let your tenderness fill the places I try to hide, and let your strength rise gently within my weakness. From this softened place, we take another gentle step, a step many of us find difficult, forgiving ourselves. There are moments when we extend kindness to everyone around us, yet hold ourselves to impossible standards. We replay old mistakes, linger on regrets, or feel weighed down by choices we wish we could redo. These quiet burdens can steal our peace more than we realize. But Scripture reminds us that God's mercy is wider than our self-judgment. His forgiveness does not come with hesitation or reluctance. And Mary's maternal example reflects this same patience. At Guadalupe, her closeness offers not condemnation, but reassurance, a reminder that healing grows in hearts willing to be gentle with themselves. She encourages us not with new teachings, but simply through her witness of trust and surrender, to believe that God's love reaches even the parts of us still hurting. Today's practice is simple but meaningful. Choose one regret, large or small, and release it to God. You don't need to fix it, solve it, or understand everything around it. Just breathe and say, "Lord, I place this in your mercy." That small act begins to break the chain of self-blame and opens a path toward deeper peace. Lord, free me from what weighs me down. Let your mercy lift the burdens I still carry within. Tomorrow, we step forward with renewed purpose. Let your mercy lift the burdens I still carry within. From that place of release, we take a gentle step forward, a step into renewed purpose. Many of us long to know what our purpose truly is, yet we often imagine it as something grand, dramatic, or far beyond our reach. But in the rhythm of everyday life, purpose can feel blurry. Fatigue, worry, or a sense of being stuck can make us wonder if we are moving in the right direction at all. Yet Scripture shows time and again that God works most beautifully through steady faithfulness rather than dramatic achievement. A simple yes, a quiet act of love, a moment of trust, these are the seeds from which purpose grows. Mary at Tepeyac reflects this truth. Her presence invites us to notice that purpose is often shaped one gentle step at a time, simply by allowing God to guide the heart. She encourages us, not with new revelations, but with the quiet witness of her life, to believe that God shapes meaning through our small daily choices. Today, choose one small intentional act of goodness. It doesn't need to be impressive. Perhaps offering a sincere thank you, sending a kind message, or giving someone your patient attention. That simple act, done with love, becomes a way of saying, "Lord, I am willing. Lead me. Lord, guide my purpose with your peace. Help me walk with trust, even in small steps." Tomorrow, we lean more confidently into God's love. Help me walk with trust, even in small steps. From that place of willingness, we take another gentle step, one that leads us deeper into the reassurance of God's love. Many of us carry moments when life feels too heavy or too fast, leaving our hearts tight with worry. Even when we try to stay hopeful, the weight of responsibilities, fears, or unspoken sadness can make us feel distant from peace. In those moments, it becomes easy to forget that we are never meant to carry everything alone. Scripture reminds us that God draws near to the brokenhearted and holds close those who are weary. And at Tepeyac, Mary's presence reflected that same tender nearness, not as a source of new revelation, but as a quiet reminder that God's love surrounds us even when we do not feel strong. Her gentle example invites us to lean just a little more into the truth that God's heart is steady, patient, and deeply attentive. Trust grows not through force, but through resting in that love. Today, take one simple step. Whisper, "Lord, hold me close." Let those words settle in your heart. You don't need to feel anything dramatic. Just allow yourself to be open to the possibility that you are being gently supported. Lord, surround me with your steady love. Let my heart find rest in your nearness. Tomorrow, we prepare our hearts for lasting peace. Let my heart find rest in your nearness. From that gentle rest, we take another small step toward a peace that lasts, not only for a moment, but as a quiet steadying of the soul. Many of us long for peace, yet it can feel fragile. A single worry, an unexpected disappointment, or the return of old anxieties can make the calm we worked so hard to hold slip away. It's easy to wonder why peace seems so difficult to keep. But Scripture shows us that peace is not something we manufacture. It is something God plants and nourishes when we come to Him with honesty and humility. Mary's example at Tepeyac echoes this truth. Not through dramatic speeches, but through her quiet presence, she invites us to return again and again to God's gentle love. She shows us that peace grows when the heart stops pretending to be strong and instead rests in God exactly as it is. Today, offer God one simple breath. Inhale gently, and as you exhale, let it be a small offering, a prayer without words, a surrender without effort. Trust that even this small act makes room for God's peace to settle within you. Lord, plant lasting peace in my heart. Help me stay open to the quiet work you are doing within me. Tomorrow, we bring all our steps together in hope. Help me stay open to the quiet work you are doing within me. From that gentle place, we take one more step together, a step wrapped in hope. Many days, life still leaves us tired or carrying questions we don't yet know how to answer. But as we look back over this journey, we can see how every small act of trust, every whisper of surrender, every moment of stillness has softened the heart and made more room for God's tenderness. Mary's presence at Tepeyac continues to be a gentle reminder that we never walk alone. Her example of humble openness invites us to notice how God has been shaping us quietly, through patience, through compassion, through the courage to keep going even when the path felt heavy. Scripture shows that hope is not loud or dramatic. It grows like morning light, steady and faithful. Tonight, take a simple step. End your day with one sentence of gratitude and one sentence of trust. Let your heart rest in those two small truths. They are seeds that God can grow into lasting peace. Lord, keep leading me with your gentle light as I continue this journey. Grant me the grace to walk forward in hope, rooted in your love. Though this series ends, your journey with God continues, one small, faithful step at a time.